So welcome back to another installment of the Achievement Series. Today, I'm so excited to be joined by Brother Perry Jeffries, the entrepreneur CFO. I'm so excited to have him here to talk about Cashflow Unlocked, a tool that is created to create financial freedom and generational wealth, which is so important. I wanted to provide this brother the opportunity to share with us why this is important and what it means for you. But first, before I get into the business part, Brother Jeffries, I have so much respect for you. You and I did a segment on your podcast about health equals wealth. Man, I've looked up to you. You know, take deference out, take age out. You know, when you're doing big things, you deserve the respect and admiration. So, man, I thank you for your time, and please take a moment, introduce yourself.
Indeed, man. So first of all, Brother Palmer, that warms my heart, man. Before we jumped on the call today, I was thinking about the episode we did right around the pandemic, and we know we helped some folk with that piece, man. So in all deference to you, man, for what you're doing for the province, what you're doing across the nation, man, just thank you for what you're doing. And it's always just super dope to be connected with people who have alignment, right?
Yeah.
So you go hard for health, I go hard for the money piece on the wealth side, man. So thank you for just taking the opportunity, man, to get me on here to share what we're doing so we can continue to impact lives, man. So much appreciation to that whole piece. And this is dope, the Achievement Series, man. So I'm ready to get rocking and rolling. So,
okay.
Yeah, man. So quick introduction, Perry Jeffries. I'm the president of Diamond Equity Advisors. We are an investment advisory and business consulting firm located here in Columbus, Ohio. We have clients, we used to say across the country, now we can say across the globe because we have international clients. And what we specialize in is not in selling product, but in offering sound advice, real-time advice for individuals who are looking to create generational wealth, who are looking to, retire, for folks who are looking to take their business and be profitable so that they can create the lifestyle and live life on their own terms. So we specialize in getting into the weeds and helping people navigate that space, man, which sometimes be very, very overwhelming. So that's who we are. And to your point, we recently opened up our expertise via a private Facebook group called Cashflow Unlocked. And we'll get into kind of the why behind that piece. But that's who I am, man. So I've been in my industry 20 years, helping businesses and individuals. I love what I do. I've reached a kind of unique space, a unique time in my life where I've been able to crack 2 codes. I've been able to crack the entrepreneurship code, so getting paid for my skill set and betting on myself. So have proof in the pudding that we've created multiple 6-figure businesses. In addition to that, we've been able to crack this code around how to invest those dollars, not only to live the lifestyle that we want to live today, but also to set our next generation up to live that way as well. And then more importantly, pass that information on to the next generation. Because it's not about, hey, we gave you $1 million. It's about, do you know how to generate and go create that $1 million on your own and what to do with it when you get it. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I've made some mistakes in the past. I think that's why a lot of clients rock with us, because I'm transparent. I haven't been perfect. I made some mistakes, and people can learn from my mistakes so they don't make those same mistakes. And we can show them what we've done to win and create some success for our family. And, we're in this thing together. I tell folks all the time, I'm just a little bit further up the mountain than you are. I'm definitely not at the top of the mountain looking down on anybody. I'm just trying to pull as many people up as I can, bro.
Absolutely. And everything you said, I can vouch for in terms of the altruism, your willingness to give other people the game that you've got. To help other people avoid the mistakes that you've made. I see you post all the time. And what I appreciate about your message is you say, hopefully I'm saying this right, you're not telling people what to do. So you're not an instructor in terms of I'm telling you exactly what to do, but you're giving people the information so that they have the option to make the right choice, which Absolutely. Empowers people to versus makes them feel like I need you. Once you give them that information, they're empowered to move forward because you've given them that freedom to choose left or right.
Man, that's the key. So where we are right now, man, in this whole generational wealth piece, and I cringe as I say it because I've gotten to the point where social media, you hear it so much, and I'm tired of hearing it because so many people are promoting it and saying they're helping people achieve it, but really not understanding what wealth is, how to define it, how to measure it. But I know that's what people gravitate towards, is that generational wealth piece. And what it really comes down to, a book that I reference all the time called The Jewish Phenomenon. In that book, it says that wealth is transportable. So it's not about what I give you in a sense of assets. It's what I teach you in the form of growing your financial literacy. So we just give it all away, man, for free. And when people decide to, hey, they raise their hand and say, hey, I got the information, but I need help implementing, hopefully we can extend something to them and have one of our products or offers where we can actually help coach them and help them navigate that, but not just to your point, not tell them what to do, right? But be able to be that sounding board just to tell you, hey, you should probably turn left right here, and this is why. Or, hey, you should probably go straight right here, and this is why. And empower people to make those decisions on their own, because ultimately, if we're not teaching you, we ain't creating no generational wealth, because if we ain't taught you nothing, you can't pass that on to the next generation. So
Exactly.
man, spot on, brother. No doubt.
Exactly. And I'll be 100% transparent. One of the reasons why I'm excited to have you here is because I want to make sure that everyone listening taps into what you've got. So I want to jump right into Cash Flow Unlocked, because you've made it available. It's a private Facebook group, but you've made it available for really anyone to join, and I'll let you speak on that. And I want everyone listening to join, to get tapped in, and to pass it on to 5 other people that they know. So if you would, tell us a little bit about the Cash Flow Unlock group, what kind of content you make available, and why it's important.
Yeah, man. Let me start off, if I can, Brother Parma, I'm going to talk about the why behind it. So the why behind it, man, is in 2020, during the pandemic, my goofy self decides to go out at almost 50 years of age and get on some roller skates. And I totally break my ankle, like ankle hanging off the leg, right? And during that time, while I'm getting better, I'm now weight bearing for 2 months. Long story short, I developed a blood clot in my lung. I had no idea what was going on. I had this pain in my back. I thought I had a rib out because I was on the couch all day. We go to the hospital immediately. They're like, oh no, you got a blood clot in the lung. We're rushing you to the emergency room. One of the scariest times of my life. I'm on a COVID floor. Nobody is with me. My wife's not with me. They won't let her in. And, I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, this may be it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because a blood clot in the lung ain't nothing to play with. So fast forward, man, I get out and I'm having a conversation with my wife, and she's telling me the stress she was under. She was texting all of my friends and, and my sands and all of that. And it dawned on me like, yo, if I die today, and she said this to me, if you die today, baby, so many people would have been impacted. And I'm like, yeah, I know, you and our daughters, but she's like, no, your clients, the people who follow you, your community, like a lot of people would have been impacted. And it hit me right then, Newt. Yo, you got to create something that's long lasting, that can last longer than you, so you can impact more lives, right? So my mind went to work and it's like, okay, what can I create that can add value after I'm gone? So I said, you know what? Let's create a community. So we created this community called Cash Flow Unlocked. It used to be called the Cash Flow Club. We renamed it to Cash Flow Unlocked to go in hand with our podcast. And what it is a safe place for individuals to go, especially entrepreneurs, to ask questions, to grow their financial literacy, right? And to get resources, because we're up against a lot of things that's really scary right now. And I'll go through those pretty quickly. We're up against 3 things. So let me kind of just point these out. One, it's been documented now that the leading driver of creating wealth in the United States of America is entrepreneurship, which is great news for us, especially us as minorities, right? Because it doesn't necessarily even the playing field, but at least gives us a shot, okay? So we know that to be true. Also, unfortunately, what we know to be true is that it's projected by the year 2053 that Black folks will have a median 0 net worth, y'all. So let that sink in. And you ain't got to believe me. Jump on Google and just type in 2053 Black wealth, and you're going to see multiple articles that say 0 median net worth. So we are literally 30 years away from our average net worth being 0. Okay. And then also what we know to be true, another fact, another stat, and this is from the SBA, is that 85% of small businesses, so by SBA definition, small business being a business less than 25 million in revenue, are paycheck to paycheck and literally 30 to 90 days from failing. And we know it's true because we saw it during the pandemic when folks didn't have revenue coming in, folks had to close their doors, right? They couldn't make payroll because they didn't have any cushion. So we have this entrepreneurship piece that's going to help us close the wealth gap. But then we have these other pieces, right, that we got to get it right. So we wanted to create a safe place for folk to come in. So whether you have a business, you just started a business, or you're thinking about starting a business, to come in and get information. So we wanted to give them, one, a safe place to ask questions, two, good information, right? So a place to get good information, and also two, a place where they can be, feel comfortable because they know they're talking to a resource they can trust with a 20-year track record of doing this thing. So that's why we created it, man. So that's why we created the piece, and it's totally free. And I know folks will be like, well, ain't nothing for free. What's the real deal? Here's the real deal. Before we can even think about, changing the trajectory of this wealth gap piece for us collectively, it's not about strategy. It ain't about what you saw on Instagram. If you create a trust and get an LLC, you're going to get the bag. It's not about that. It actually starts with unpacking a lot of the baggage, historically speaking, generational baggage. Before we can create generational wealth, we got to get rid of some generational baggage and ideas about money, right? And we have to improve our financial literacy and our mindset. So we want to give that to you guys for free. Like, this is for everybody for free, because we got to correct those things before we can even get into the true wealth creation piece. So that's why we created, man, the private Facebook group. That's why, man, we're just, thankful that you're giving us the opportunity to share what we're doing, because a lot of folks don't know. And that's why we created the piece, bro.
That is phenomenal. And, I'm speaking with some historical context, but certainly correct me if I'm wrong or if you disagree. But I believe that distrust of free information is one of the curses we need to correct, because that same passing down of free information is the reason why we're behind. Everyone else has been passing it along for free and having this, there's more pieces to the pie. There's plenty enough for all of us. However, we still remain in this, wait a minute, only one of us can win at a time. And if you're giving me something, there must be a string attached. Yeah. Versus if Brother Jeffries has, the more you get, the more I have available to me. The more I pass along and the more people get involved with this, the more we can develop into an economic base that will take us out of that 2053 Black, that zero median income type thing. So I 100% believe in the fact that information should be given, because as you said earlier, and as we talked about, what you do with it is up to you. But the fact that it's available, man, is I'm going to call it futuristic. We should have been there, but according to today's standards, you're definitely ahead of the curve, providing this information. What specific, you talked a little bit about, couple of the things that are available. What would be one thing for the person listening saying, yeah, I may join, I may not? What's one piece of information right now that you could say, hey, I bet if you went in there and you saw this may change the way that you paid your next bill, invested your next $100 or $1,000, or what you do with your 401k options, or whatever that might be. What's one piece of information that they may get that creates some value up front right now?
Absolutely. So great question. I'll jump right into it. One piece you're going to get is we do live trainings every Thursday. Okay. And with those live trainings, you are more than welcome to ask as many questions as you desire. I'm available to answer the questions. My team is available to answer the questions. So we've created it where, one, you can go in and join the live trainings, or as a member of the group, you can go in and watch the recordings, right? So in those trainings, we're handing out resources. Sometimes we provide spreadsheets and templates that you can use. But more importantly, you're getting your mind, you're expanding your mind around what wealth is and what it actually takes to create wealth, and really having a true definition around it. So here recently, I've done trainings on the best way to invest $10,000, how to set yourself up to have $1 million in less than 20 minutes, right? I'm doing a episode here very soon on kind of my spin on Django, right? Where I got to the point where I was unchained, decided to bet on myself and leave corporate America, right? And never go back again. So we're giving you the soil. Let me put it that way. On these live trainings, and I won't even get into the other resources, but in these live trainings, we're giving you the soil, because seed is only going to grow in good soil with water and sunlight and things of that nature. So what we're doing on these live trainings is we're helping to fertilize that soil so you can actually start to grow your seed. So out the gate, man, these live trainings are priceless. We did a training here recently on the money story, your financial DNA. What you learned about money and how you handle money today is a reflection of what you learned or tried to unlearn, what you received from your parents and your grandmom and them and grandfather them in your community, right? I've had people reach out to me saying that training put them in tears, because they're like, wow, I had no idea. That's why my perception of money was so. So
Yes.
That's out the gate, man. Those trainings are absolutely priceless.
Agreed. And I'm sure everyone listening to this is intelligent and has some success. So we're not going to take it for granted that everyone out there is struggling and destitute. So everyone listening should know, you get that one nugget. It just takes one nugget in the trajectory of your financial life. It could change everything. And you put a really good spin on it. So it's not just really numbers, charts, details. I know one of your recent episodes, you put the spin on it, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and, life, business lessons from the greats. I mean, so you put a real relatable spin on it that people might hear it in a way on one of these live trainings, if you can't make them all, where you can go back and listen to the recording and you get that one thing, man. So it is just, such a gift that you're giving out.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
To your point is the small hinges swing big doors. Sometimes it's just a little tweak, right? To fix a jump shot, sometimes it's just bring that elbow in, right? To fix that golf swing, it's a little tweak. Small hinges swing big doors. I learned that piece. So you are spot on, man, with that. Yep.
Awesome.
And then, Brother Palmer, I don't know how much time we have left on this. Do we have time for me to share a quick story? Probably would take me about a minute or so, but it's going to kind of just reinforce something you said earlier. And I feel it's just in my spirit. I need to share it.
No, absolutely. This is important. So we've got as much time as you need.
All right, cool. So I was recently at a mastermind event down in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm at a bestseller author's home, his estate, if you will. And for those who don't know the book Profit First, Mike McAllowitz, I work directly with their team. I'm one of their mastery level Profit First advisors in the globe. There's 9 of us across the globe. So we're at this mastermind, man, with all of these, 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs. And we started the mastermind off with the story of the corn farmer. I had never heard it before. And Google it if you guys haven't heard it. You can just go Google corn farmer, motivational story, whatever the case may be. But let me paraphrase it. It was this corn farmer, and he won every year the state fair. He won the best corn every year. And it was found out that he actually shared his seed with the neighbors around him and gave his seed to the people who were competing with him in the corn fair. So they asked him and said, dude, why are you sharing your seed with your competitors? Right. And what he shared was this: oh, you don't know about how corn works. And from a cross-pollination standpoint, that the wind comes around and then spreads that, that seed across the different fields. So if I want to grow phenomenal corn, I have to make sure that my neighbor has phenomenal corn as well. And it blew my mind, right? That analogy, because it's like, yo, that's where we have to get to. It's about abundance, having an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. We got to share that information. Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly how I created multiple six-figure businesses. And then you may go and figure it out on your own, or you may circle back to us and be like, hey, can you work with me to help me do this piece? Or can you help me to create a wealth plan for me and my family? But I'm going to give it to you because that's how my seed continues to grow, is to give it to you. When I heard that analogy, Noop, I was mind blown. Like, this is crazy. We did this. This was the first thing we did in the mastermind. And I could have left the thing that day and said, I got what I needed to go win right there. Right. So I had to share that story, bro.
Oh my God. It's so simple after you said it. But prior to, I had no clue how that story would have went.
Word.
Man, that is dope.
Yeah.
I mean, and just to relate it to what we think about every day, we complain about, I cut my grass, my neighbors don't. He's bringing my property value down. So we complain about others around us that don't take care because it makes us look bad. So it would make sense that the better everyone else looks around us, the better our stance, our property, our standing goes. And as the old saying goes, you are who you hang around.
Absolutely.
So that corn farmer knew that, my corn is great because everyone around me is great. So mine has no opportunity. Oh my God.
So I give them my seed. It's giving me chills even thinking about it, bro. So so again, going back to why would you create a group where you give all this information away? Because that's how I grow my seed. When somebody comes to me and say, man, I was on that training, I called a family meeting immediately and sat down so we could analyze our money story and why we do what we do with our money, right? And I know that family is winning. Man, my seed is growing. And then they're coming back to me like, hey, okay, we did this. What's the next step? It's a win-win, man. And when we get to the point that we really understand that, because you brought it up earlier, historically and generationally speaking, we hold it tight to the vest. We don't talk about money. And being in my industry for 20 years, I've been around a lot of wealthy people. And I can tell you this out the gate. Wealthy people, successful people are quick to tell you how they got there. They not, oh, I'm not going to share that with you. It's nothing to sit down with a bunch of successful people and millionaires and they tell you, yep, I made 1.2 million last year. Or, hey, my business did 400,000. Or, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I got this dope investment. You may want to check it out as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm up 20%. It's that information share. The reason are these other communities, right, and segments of our society aren't projected to have zero net worth by 2053.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to do, is create this information share. So we can start to get good soil to grow this corn, right? So that we can start to really close this wealth gap, right? And it starts with one person seeing a video, sharing it with a friend, inviting some friends, and trying to grow this community to where, right now we have a little over 1,000 in it. We would love to have this thing at 5,000 within the next 18 months, because the more people we can help, our seed continues to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I've got the Facebook group down there, but I'd like to invite you. Is there any other ways that you would, outside of this group or anything that you want people to connect? So as we kind of close, what else other than going and joining this group would people do to be able to tap into what you've got and to be able to help others and participate in this collective movement of us all growing together?
I would say this: social media. So whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, we're on all of those platforms. We're not a social media marketer, so we don't have like millions of followers and things of that nature, but we're not there for that. We're there for just to have a point of entry for folks to connect with us. And I'll be just quite honest with you, Luke, we're going to point you directly to the group, because in that group, we can have some conversation, right? You can get these resources for free and connect with us. But if you're on Instagram and you want to go check us out and look at some of our content, please go do that and understand and come into the group. We're not trying to sell you anything until you raise your hand and be like, yo, okay, we want to work with you. We're not going to be all up in your DMs and your inboxes trying to sell your stuff and try to spam you. We are literally giving this away for free. And when you get to that point where you're like, yo, yeah, let me raise my hand, I want more, we're going to be here for that. And if you never raise your hand, because we have members in the group who have never raised their hand and said, hey, we're ready to work with you, but they invite their friends and their family and their moms and their aunties and their cousins. And that's a win for everybody included, because we know that we're being impactful. So that's what I would kind of end with that one, Luke, is, a lesson I learned a long time ago. I had a mentor ask me, P, he said, do you want to be successful or do you want to be relevant? I said, what's the difference? Well, successful is what you do for yourself. Relevant is based on how many people you help become successful. At that point in time, I knew I wanted to be relevant. So that's what we're here for. So I'll leave it with that.
Awesome. Well, Brother Jeffries, man, I thank you for your time. I thank you for the work that you're doing. I believe that the seeds that you're sowing now will certainly reap many harvests for us as a community, as a global community. We need it. We need to walk away from that 2053 Black wealth. Everybody Google that. If that doesn't scare you into joining this group, then please know that, I vouch 100% for this brother here. And it's information that at the very worst, you go in and you hear two things you know and one thing you don't. Three things you know, one thing you don't. But you're going to hear something that you don't know. Or you hear something you thought you know that you hear it in a different way that you weren't able to take action on. So please join this group, tap in, listen, and pass this along to someone else. We as a fraternal community, if you're listening to this and are a member of the bond, we as a fraternal organization need to be the leader. We talk about achievement in every field of human endeavor. We need to be the ones leading financially from the front, leading the economic charge into the next 10, 20, 30 years, where someone says, I succeeded, but for I heard a member of Kappa Alpha Psi pass on some information to me. So please tap in. And I'll leave you. I know you kind of gave your last word, but anything that you want to close with as we wrap up.
I'll close with this. Nuke, thank you for what you do. I see you on social media as well. I see your energy and your intensity around helping us change our trajectory around health and fitness and looking at things differently. So all deference and appreciation to you. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for just giving me the opportunity to get on here and share my deal. And man, let's continue to build, man, because it's about compounding. Two of us helping two more, helping two more. And next thing you know, we didn't help a couple 100,000 over 1 million. And that brings, that's good for my soul and good for my heart right there. And that's the reason I joined the bond to begin with. Right. So appreciate you. Yo.
Perfect. Yo.